speakers tell us about how staying safe while aging at home is so important for your aging loved ones. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jeff Bucko.
So, well, good evening again and welcome to ACAP. My name is Jeff Buffo, and I've been a licensed realtor with Keller Williams for 23 years. And along with my partner, Jan Hare, we founded Seasons for Life. Seasons for Life is a real estate team with over 50 years of serving the greater Atlanta community. And in addition to providing unparalleled real estate services, we provide turnkey services to families to help simplify the complexity of senior care by connecting you guys with our compassionate care partners from in-home care, home restoration, hospice care, etc. We want to make the journey of senior care much simpler.
Yeah, and then my name is Christian Kusvina. So my wife and I own in-home care called Comfort Care. So we are non-medical in-home care. We serve the Cobb Cherokee area. I'm also a co-founder and co-coordinator for the ACAP Cobb Cherokee.
Certainly, aging in place is a huge component of senior care. And tonight we're going to explore the reasons why, the benefits and challenges of, and the resources, most importantly, that are available for this important issue. So what is aging in place? Aging in place is the ability to live in one's home and community safely, independently, and comfortably, regardless of age, income, or ability level. And when thinking about aging in place, we need to take a step back and ask the question, why would a senior even consider aging in place? Well, home is where the heart is. For most seniors, their entire life has revolved around home, family, community. You know, these incredible life events of getting married, the birth of their children, taking family vacations, celebrating high school and college graduations, taking care of grandchildren, sharing fun times with their family, their friends, their community, and taking care of their home. It's the place where they've created lasting memories. And I like to say aging in place, it's receiving the care that you need in the home that you love. As we move forward, think about two fundamental emotions that most seniors really have in their head and their heart, and that is independence and pride. Let's look at some of the statistics regarding aging in place, and I really want to highlight three very important ones. First is that 90% of all seniors would prefer to live at home than to go to a community, okay? 60% of seniors have an emotional attachment to their home, as we just talked about. And 40% of seniors said that independence is the most important benefit of staying at home. Okay. So the top reasons active adults want to age in place. Number one, to be independent. Okay. Maintaining a sense of independence and pride is essential for seniors. It enables older adults to retain a high level of control over their daily lives. It allows them to execute daily functions like shopping, their hobbies. It allows for connecting with their community, their friends, and their family much, much easier than living in a community. It allows them to manage their personal care without constant assistance. It's that independence. Remaining in their communities enables older adults to make social interaction an intense and incredibly important part of their daily lives. Having an active adult social life can help older adults prevent dementia, maintain community connections and important friendships, and contribute to their better health overall. They feel safer in their neighborhood, in their community, in their home. It's the place of comfort. And cost is another major factor. Even after home modifications, and I think everybody's gotten their checklist, which is pretty comprehensive, even after home modifications, it is still cheaper to age in place than to move into a community. And I've visited over a dozen in the last month or two, and it can range from $60,000 to over $150,000 per year. Health and safety is paramount, and I just want to talk a minute about the pandemic, COVID-19, and its effect on seniors. 20% of seniors reported financial hardship during and after COVID. COVID made seniors more willing to live at home rather than moving. And more seniors started using technology for daily activities, for social connection, for ordering food, and things like that. And on Tuesday, I met a company, and they provide training for seniors, and we'd be happy to provide information on that, but I probably need to call them too, because I'm not really good at IT either. But moving to a community increased the likelihood of exposure to sickness and illness. So staying at home is definitely the preference. So now we want to take a look at the challenges of aging in place, and I'll turn it over to Christian.
Thank you, Jeff.
There you go.
So a couple of things, as we go through the challenges and then also some of the strategies, there's going to be a lot of information on the stage. And so if you want to take pictures, please, wait until the slides ends and then take pictures if you want to. And then I'd like to make this more, very relaxing. So if you have questions, just raise your hand. We don't have to wait until the end of it. I know we have notes in there. So if you feel shy, you want to take your questions on the note, that's fine too. So, Jeff is right. I think if you look what Jeff's presentation is, it's all about, all these seniors have that great emotional attachment to their homes, right? And that's one of the things why they want to also age in place. But certainly, you probably know this. So let me ask you questions. Who actually have parents living independently now at home? Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So there's certainly a lot of challenges. I mean, a lot of you are probably more, more knowledgeable than we are here because you are living it. But the first is the home. This statistics doesn't make sense to me. 90% of older adults want to live at home independently, but 70% of them live in the homes that were built 3 decades ago, right? When your home was built in, and because I'm Asian, I'm not good at math. I'm trying to think 30 minus 20, 24, but somewhere there. But exactly, thank you so much. Yeah. So exactly. So if your homes were 30 years ago, there must be a lot of things that were challenging when you're 80, 90, even 65, 70 years old. So let's see what those are. Floors, right? You've got 3 stories home. You've got your main bedroom is on the top floor. You've got basement. You've got no ramps when you go in and out. Some of the steps are steep. I've seen some of the basement steps that are so steep that I have to hold on to the rails all the time. Bathrooms. Most bathrooms have tubs. And it's hard for older adults to get in and out of tubs. Some of the fixtures are non-ADA, American Disability Act, right? So the toilets are probably too low for them. Smaller doors and hallways, as they're using medical device equipment or assistive devices, they can't go through some of the hallways. Some of the doors are really small too. Carpeting. I used to work for a carpet company, and I used to think that thick carpet were luxurious, but when you have wheelchair or walker, those carpets are hindrance because you can't roll things through carpets like that. That's why most carpets in corporation or offices were very thin. It's because it's easier to roll things. But in homes, at that stage, thick carpets. And then the other thing too is uneven flooring. So when you go from one area, let's say carpet to a kitchen, you may not have a good transition area so that it's, again, it becomes a fall risk because you can stumble into that. Kitchen, some of the appliances are old, right? It may not work properly anymore. And then the cabinets are tall, and when you spend your life 30 years, you probably put a lot of stuff on top, and then you can't reach them. And of course, they, sometimes they want to take the step tools that they could fall. So a lot of really fall risk. Lighting. So a lot of the houses were built without really nice, lots of lights or windows, natural lights. And so they're really dark, especially the hallways, especially also the hallways from their bedroom to their bathroom, right? Especially at night. Older furnitures. We moved so many times, so we threw away a lot of furniture. So that's good. So if you want to, reduce furniture, move. But when you live in the same place for 30 years, you're gonna end up having a lot of furnitures, and furnitures also, just like the small hallways, how are you gonna maneuver through it, right? Overcrowded areas, hoarder situation. I have a client where when I knock on the door, she opened the door, I could see pathways going through. If the pathways connect from her main entrance to her living room, to her, to the guest bathroom, to her bedroom. But then after that, it's all piles of just things that she collected over 30, 40 years. I mean, you can't live like that. And she was in a scooter. So she had to park the scooter outside, and she had to walk with her thing through the path. And I'm like, it's crazy. Pets. So I have to say pets it's really beneficial for older adults, especially as they have dementia, right? Because it's a great companion. But as you can see, pets can also be dangerous, right? Think about the water bowl spilling. Think about the toys all over the floors. Think about those beautiful dog that's really aggressive. And then when you have the leash, it goes around you, and then, you can fall, right? So pets, even though they're really useful, they can be fall hazard. And then as you live 30 years in your home, what about the surrounding areas? Do they still have a good sidewalks? Do they still have a good proximity to, grocery stores, things like that? Is the area safe? So, as people, especially as you get older, you want to keep active and you like to go outside. So you need to also think about that, not only the home, but proximity of the home. What about health condition and medication? So one of the greatest cause of falls is over-medicated or under-medicated, right? And as you grow older, you may not remember to take medication. You may not remember what medication you want to take. If you take more than 5 medication, that is a sign that you may have a high fall risk. And then how do you administer them? Let's say you have insulin, right? Things like that. How do you, wound care? How do you medicate yourself when you have a wound care? So as you get older, those are going to be an issue. Nutrition, meals, and hydration. Do they still know how to cook? Can they get groceries, right? Do they know, if they know how to cook, do they know, how to cook nutritional foods, right? Not just ramen noodles, like when I used to eat when I was in college, right? Hydration, do they take enough water? Do they, I have a client where all he drank was 1 cup of coffee in the morning and 1 glass of wine at night. But then he took his medication. He had 7 medication, and he's a fall risk, right? So it's really hard. Chronic diseases, when you have COPD, when you have, high blood pressure, how do you manage that when you live by yourself? Falls is in the top 3 of hospitalization for older adults. And falls can always be the start of the domino effect of that progression, right? And so managing and reducing the risk of falls is key as you live independently. Dementia, especially when they are in that late stage of the, beginning stage to the middle stage, when they start to forget things, when they go to their mailbox to get their mail, they turn back and they don't recognize the home. They think that's not their home. They're trying to find home. They're eloping, right? That is real, and that happens a lot, especially when they're independent. What about transportation and socialization? At some point in time, the ability to drive for them will probably diminish, right? But when that happens, they're gonna get more isolation because they're gonna stay at home a lot. And COVID, we talk about COVID, the thing that we set to protect older adults, which is isolation. Actually, I think it did more harm to the older adults than the COVID itself. Because after the COVID ends, the progression of older adults, this just the acuity level, when I saw them in, communities and when we visit them, is a lot worse because of isolation. We used to have a client too, where she taught canasta cards and fitness at one of the top senior service center. And COVID hit, she couldn't do that anymore, and she declined very hard. And she developed some sort of dementia. I think it was Alzheimer, and then she declined rapidly after that. But before COVID, she was every single day she was in that senior center doing stuff. How about transportation, doctor's appointment, right? What about grocery shoppings? What about the hair appointment? All of those things, as they can't drive anymore, those will become a problem. Early dementia also causes self-isolation. A lot of people that actually develop dementia and they know about it, they will self-isolate themselves because they are embarrassed if people know about it. And that's also, one of the fear factor, with socialization or lack of it. So I know that those are a lot of scary stuff, right? What can we do about it? Okay, so we're gonna discuss some of that right now. So for the home, talk to one-on-one mobility, because they can really help you. If you don't know what needs to be done, get with somebody who actually has the expert to it. So like home accessibility specialist, home modification company. Now, what we gave you is probably the most comprehensive safety check out there. There's 16 pages there, but it's for a reason. I know it was probably created in the 80s, but it covered every single room. And I want you to make a copy first. Don't use that because you may need it again next time, but you wanna always get to one room and do that. Go to the next room, do another safety check, right? I think it's important for you as you're planning now. Durable medical equipment will be helpful, especially if mobility is now in effect. And I know that some durable or some DMEs may be covered by Medicare, but if not, there's two types. Look for rentals. There are medical equipment supply store that actually rent things before you buy it, right? So there's an option. Not all of them are for rent, but there are some expensive one that can be rented. I know that we rented one for our client, which is the stand to lift or lift to stand devices. It was for rent, and that was really beneficial. And I think it's helping the client. Or look for secondhand, like refurbished. So Fodak is a good example. So they actually collect lightly used medical equipment, and then they refurbish them, and then they resell them. So look for those type of stores. Home renovations, right? So look for contractors that can actually help you with this type of things. My suggestion is always plan ahead. Okay, so there are a few things, like usually there are 3 phases of planning. One is just for fall risk. So one is you need to make sure that the risk of falls are minimized at home. And we'll talk about that on the next slide. Second would be the entryway, right? And modifying the furnitures, because if you can understand, you can, once their mobility is affected, they're gonna use medical device equipment or assistive device. You need bigger hallway, you need bigger door, you need ramps, you'll need your furnitures to be modified so that they can go around. So that's the second one. Third is probably the bigger renovation. That would be your walk-in shower, right? Maybe sit down counter for a food prep or food making meals and stuff like that. Those are probably going to be the more expensive ones. So plan ahead. Those 3 steps: fall risk first, entryways, and then the larger modifications you tackle at the end. Here are some modifications. They are simple to do, but also I think these are probably going to be very relevant for fall risk. If you have a main bedroom and you can't move downstairs, move to the main room, right? That's a no-brainer, because then you don't have to deal with steps any longer. Lower height. Most of the falls with older adults are
in their bedroom. And it's usually because either going in or out from the bed. And usually because the beds are tall. And so they slip or they trying to get to the bed and they couldn't and they slipped down. So if you can get a bed that is smaller, or even if they want to use it, if they're not stubborn enough, the hospital beds is actually better because they can recline. But get a bed with a lower height, grab bars and secure handrails. Now, people ask me a lot of times, oh, can I install those grab bars with suction cup? And I'm like, no. So get a contractor to really install grab bars. The reason for that is there's a difference between static weight and non-static weight. So for example, when you're grabbing that suction cup grab bars, you can probably go in and out from your shower. Really, it's fine, right? Because it's sturdy enough. The problem is static weight is when you're falling and you're holding into that. Your weight is twice or three times with the pressure that you put in that grab bar. That thing just gonna fall apart, right? Because you need grab bars. I know that you need grab bars to go in and out of the tub or to your shower, but you need grab bars in case of emergency. That's the most important thing, is life and death, that you grab that and will not fall out, right? So that's the static weight. When you need to get somebody that can really install that grab bars. Shower chair, you have tubs and you don't have the means to really get a walk-in shower, get a shower chair. If it's still hard for you to get in and out from the shower chair, use the transfer board. Okay, transfer board is easy. You put it over the shower chair. The seniors can just sit down and slide them to the shower chair and then have a shower. Handheld shower wand, right? Move the shower down so that it's convenient and easy for them to take a shower by themselves independently. And then on the kitchen, just move all the used items to the bottom one, right? So that they can actually reach them easily. Remove clutters. You know, if they still have land phone and there's a lot of cables, remove that, right? So anything that is clutters. This is hard. I know one of you said, do not remove the rock in front. I think it was Kelly. I think it was your mom, right? Yeah. So, you know, if you can remove it. If not, secure it, right? Even when you secure the rock, some rocks are thick. And so as they walk, they slide their feet. You could stumble into the rocks also, especially also in the bathroom. So if you can remove it first. If you cannot, just properly secure it. Contain pets or remove them. I don't know if anybody has seen the Amazon pets, like those robotic pets. You know, they're not cheap, but they're also very useful. So if your parents still really want to do pets, maybe do that instead of the real pets. I know it's some of them look very real, very real. Manage medications. What I mean about that is, if they take 3, 4, 5 different medications and you have them in different pill bottles, that's going to be hard for them. If you can use a pharmacy to do the to do the medication management, so that it comes either in a pill box or in those plastic sachet that they can just do morning and night, it's easier for them to do it. So manage the medications. Lighting, stairs and hallways especially are important, especially close to their bedroom, going to the bathroom. That's always the case for the falls. Install remote falls monitoring. So technology, and we'll discuss more about technology on the next slide, but technology has come so far now that there are a lot of technology to help older adults live independently in their homes, right? It's not 100% proof, you know, as you can see. You know, if your parents or your loved ones don't need physical care, like somebody, you know, helping showering, this monitoring is so useful. Okay. And then technologies like smartwatch, pendant, panic button, hearing aid. Do you know that hearing aids now have fall detection? I mean, I just heard about that. I was amazed that you can have hearing aids that if you fall, it will alert 911, or it will alert somebody that somebody has fallen. Now that's only if they use it, right? And how many people have parents like, oh, I don't have my hearing aid, so they have to use it, right? Alexa is also I know I have a client where the daughter put Alexa in every room because in case that she falls, she goes, "Hey, Alexa, call," right? So that's also a very, very usable thing. So let's look at technology on this. And thank you to Elizabeth for providing a lot of these examples. And I have to research all of this to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Connected care is actually what we have in Comfort Care. So it is a monitoring for falls, activities, chronic diseases. So we do have that. These are very, very affordable. You know, it's not like it's, you know, when you think about in-home care, it's $30 per hour, right? These are like $300 a month. So things like that can be done. Care Alert is another one that can actually have sensors, and then you just plug it in, and then it will kind of try to detect the habits of your loved ones. And then if that habits change, it would just alert somebody, would alert you, you know, or alert a loved one. Cameras, Arlo, Ring, Blink, easy to install, right? These are usually if you want to understand what they're doing in there. We have one client where the daughter wants to put the camera right in front of the bathroom. I said, no, 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 no. So I said, that's intrusion, right? So even though camera is good, think about where you put them, right? I know that falls are usually happens in two areas of the room, bedroom and bathroom. Bedroom, I think you could put cameras. Bathroom, probably not, because especially for us, like our caregivers goes in the bathroom. So that's why we went to the daughter and said, hey, don't do that. And so she realized that. But cameras can be very, very useful. AirTag. So AirTag, I put them in the suitcase, right? But think about it this way: if your loved one have dementia and they are wandering, slip an AirTag on their favorite shoe. Okay, and then you can create a geofence, right? As soon as she goes out from geofence, it's gonna alert you. Somebody's going out from that geofence, right? And then the difference also is the camera cannot pick up where she is after she leaves the home. You can track the AirTag where she is, as long as she's wearing that shoe. But as long as she's wearing a shoe, you know where she's gonna go. So you know, think about AirTag. That's a really, you know, genius innovation there. Medication management and reminders, Hero Health, connected caregiver pillbox. These are things that can help you manage those medication and dispense it at a certain time. So think about if your mom or dad live by themselves and you cannot, you know, dispense the medication, use some of these technologies, they're good. Social engagement. Again, I put connected care because we do telehealth where we call our clients, you know, once a day for 15, 20 minutes. And in most cases, our remote care coordinators that call them become their best friend. So they talk about their children and they talk about everything else. So it's almost like a socialization in a way. So that's, you know, that's also available. LEQ, Check-a-Bee, those are also Check-in-Bee. Those are also things that can be used to kind of do social engagement for your loved ones. And then there's entertainment. Joyful Memories is music. So we have a YouTube channel called Joyful Memories that you can actually do for free. There's a lot of songs in different genre, you know, so that would be free. Online fitness like Team Vivo, Dementia TV, like Zinnia. There's even virtual singing, singing at home, where Brian actually has a lot of videos there, right, Brian? No? Communication, Caroling 360 tablet. This is a really cool tablet. It actually replaces, you know, iPad is great, but iPad is so complicated. This is a tablet specifically for seniors. It's so easy. It can combine all, you know, Zoom calling with sharing of videos, sharing of photos and stuff like that. Really, really cool technology. Care coordination apps, some of them with vital tracking, like My Connected Caregiver. And then simplify tasks. So this is like online grocery shopping and Instacart, Amazon Prime and things like that can be used also. So again, these are probably, I would say, 20% of technologies that are available out there. There's so many other technologies out there. If you have a need on technology or something, you know, reach out to us. You know, we may not know all the answers, but we may be able to find those answers because we work with a lot of the trusted, you know, people in the industry. So we will be able to find that answer for you. Again, this may not work for everybody, right? Meaning that if they need the care, if let's say that they're bedridden, there's technologies cannot help them. right? They have to have somebody that comes in there and help them with that. Okay, what about health condition and medication? Go ahead. They are Wi-Fi, they can also be cellular. So I think there can be both, but most use Wi-Fi first. And I think the reason is because if there's no Wi-Fi, is that the reason? The question is if there's no Wi-Fi? Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, so that's a great question. So for the remote care monitoring, it's indoor only, so it's in the home. If it's outside, I would suggest having like a Apple Watch, having a pendant, right? Or having that. Pendants are typical seller. Yep. So pendant, now, the pendant that if your mom or dad lives in a community, the pendant usually is for the community. But if you buy one from outside, right, it's usually cellular. So they can push anywhere that they are, and then they can alert the people.
My concern is how whether that plan
Yeah.
so I don't know if anybody's come up with anything miraculous regarding that, but this is a concern.
Yeah, if it's a power off suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are those times.
Yes, yes,
Power grid not.
right. Right,
Or still. Did you live by yourself?
right.
Then
Well, part of that renovation at the end of phase 3 could also include battery backup installation. That's why that phase 3 will probably gonna cost between $10,000 to maybe $30,000 because there's a lot of things that you need to put in there, including maybe a battery backup. But there are other things like the phone. Hopefully, phone will still be working for, if they charge the phone, right? But there are things I think that are battery operated that can probably last. That pendant is battery operated, so the pendant could also be used in case when the power is off. So we talked about the medication management using pharmacies. I would also suggest that use one pharmacy if you can. I know that some people have different doctors, right? Because the problem with having different pharmacies is they don't talk to each other. And then if the medications, are probably interfering with each other and causing maybe dizziness or, other things. If the pharmacy does not know all the medication that your mom or dad takes, they're not gonna be able to find that. So I always suggest use one pharmacy if you can, right? So, evaluate the options for medication reminder, like the technology, for example, or you can get, people to call, like the telehealth that we talked about. Check buddies. Do you have check buddies for your parents? So check buddies means that if there is a way that you can actually get a neighbor or somebody to check in on a daily basis, right? Because that is important to know, are they okay every day? If they don't call, or even a call, like if somebody can call them, once a day at the exact same moment, just to make sure. The reason for that, important for that is, disease, chronic disease is one of them. However, falls. So there's a term called long lie in falls. Long lie means that how long will the person be found after a fall? The longer they are not found, the worse it can get in terms of the repercussion of the fall. So you always want to find that fall quickly, right? And so having a check buddies would be good if you can. There's also a case where, because I know it takes effort to do it. So there's one 55 plus where the neighbors, she would open the curtain at a certain time, and the neighbors would see, oh, the curtain's open, so she's okay today. Okay, so even simple things like that. If you have a neighbor said, hey, can you watch? I'm gonna open my window every 11 a.m. If I don't open the window, that means something's wrong, right? So just simple thing like that, but get a check buddies. Virtual calls, so we talk about that. Remote care monitoring or virtual calls. Telehealth has come a long way, so there's a lot of really affordable telehealth options. Meals on Wheels, if you qualify for that, you go Meals on Wheels. If not, use delivery options like Blue Apron. right? That is easy and simple enough to cook, to prepare and cook. Food supplement, I always tell people if they don't eat a lot, and I know they probably don't eat a lot or they forgot to eat, at least get supplement. Boost and Ensure is really important, and get the flavor that they want, and chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. Encourage exercise. This is important, especially for in the term use it or lose it, right? If your muscle mass on your, especially on your legs, your extremity is use it or lose it. If they don't walk, if they don't use that, they may come into this vicious cycle. People that have fallen or heard about their families or their friends fall, they're gonna restrict activities. They're gonna sit down, they're gonna do sedentary life, and then when they want to do activities, they're gonna fall, right? And so you have to make sure that they are exercising. If they are 16 and older and they're still independent and they're mobile, COP Senior Center or COP Senior Services offers what they call Matter of Balance. You should check on that. Matter of Balance is actually, they asked me, oh, it's all about balance. No, it's actually balancing between conquering the fears of falls and providing daily exercise so that the older adult can exercise, by themselves. It's an 8-week course, 2 hours per. It can only accommodate about 12 people. We do it too, but we don't do it every time. But COP Zero Services have that available also. So check Matter of Balance. That's an evidence-based training program that is proven to be very effective. Get eye checkup annually. Okay, this is important. As they live by themselves, they need to be able to, to see properly. And then always recommend PT and OT, especially when they're trying to get the assistive device. Don't just buy a wheelchair. Sometimes you go to physical therapy, occupational therapy, ask them to recommend which is the best one for your mom and dad, and then teach them how to use it. Transportation and socialization. You always want to continue to encourage them to do the activities they love. If they love bingo, go to bingo, right? If they like, walking to the park, get them walking to the park. Understand other transportation options. If you cannot drive them, maybe do it in-home care. Now, in-home care usually have a minimum, unfortunately, either 4 hours to 6 hours. If that cost is prohibitive, maybe do neighbor force. I don't know if you heard neighbor force is, it's almost like a neighbor helping neighbor. You can actually get neighbor force to take you transportation for about an hour. It costs a little bit more on an hourly basis, but you can get them for an hour. The only challenge with neighbor force is if you have personal care, they won't be able to help you because they're not licensed CNA like what we provide, right? But neighbor force for companionship, transportation can be a good thing. Think about Uber and Lyft. I know Uber I don't know if it's in Atlanta, but they have Uber Health too, where they actually have certified CNA to take people. I'm not sure if they're available here yet, but Uber and Lyft can be very helpful too. Evaluate home medical and other services. That's why we have Restore First Health and Village MD in here, because when transportation is not possible anymore, you want people to come to you, right? We also work with Dash Stylists. I don't know if you heard Dash Stylists is they connect hairstylists around the area. So you can see hairstylists nearby to you, and then you can book them. They can come to your home and they can do your hair, right? For male and female. Pharmacies, there's mobile dog groomers, there's mobile pet walkers. So look for those kind of resources as they can't go to those places anymore. Adult daycare programs. So I don't know if you know this community that we're here is Aloha to Aging. So they do adult daycare every Monday and Wednesday. Really, really good program, all volunteer based, very affordable. But look at that, there's a lot in the area because socialization is really important for your loved one. Senior services, if you came last month, COP and Cherokee Senior Service were here. They presented their senior centers, and there's a lot of activities there. And then, of course, we talk about available online resources like Silver Sneakers and Team Vivo. Silver Sneakers usually is included in the Medicare Advantage plan, correct, Jerry? That's right. So we have a Medicare person here, so that's why I came to come here. But yeah, so if you have Silver Sneaker, make sure you take advantage of them. Other recommendation. So one thing that I always tell people, always respect your loved one's independence. They want to be independent for a reason, right? It's also emotional, but they respect them that they want to be independent. And whenever you make decisions, put them in your team. Because the last thing they want is to move because, oh, my daughter told me so. My daughter will make me move and I have to move. Put them in your team because it is much easier to get them to do what you probably want them to do if you put them in a team. So make them part of the team and make them part of the decision making. I put that in there because sometimes if they qualify under home health after a hospitalization or hospice, they can be very helpful because they provide that free services because they cover Medicare. So if make use of that if you have the ability to use it. And plan ahead. It is very critical that you plan ahead. There's so many times that we actually have somebody live by themselves, and when something happens and their children don't really know if they have a power of attorney or if they have an advance directive. So always the number of things that you need to do is make sure that you've got the legal documents to make sure that when something happens that they are taken care of. You don't have to make that decisions because they already made it for you. It's basically their wish, okay? And then use the safety check. So I want to talk a little bit about, okay, so what happened if more services or more hours are needed? So when they come to me about home care, I always say, think about the family members first, right? Friends and families, because home care can be a burden, right? Our costs about $30 an hour, approximately on average. That can add up, all right? So we always tell them, think about your family and friends, and then leave the gap to in-home care, okay? There are two kinds. There's in-home care, there's live-in services. Okay, in-home care, like we do, when we do a 24-hour service, we do 12 hours, 2 shifts. So 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. There's also live-in services. Live-in is cheaper. Live-in means that one caregiver sleeps and lives with your loved one 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Not many home care companies provide that. You can check, call them and ask them. The reason for that is because there's a lot of labor laws that a lot of home care companies get in trouble with because they don't provide the pay that they need to have. But some are still providing it, and they can be extremely less expensive than having a 12-hour. And plus, you have one caregiver instead of, for us, we have to give 3 caregivers in the morning shift and 3 at night, right? And so you have 6 people rotating instead of 1. Okay, so live-in service. Agency versus private caregivers. I have seen so many great private caregivers, so don't get me wrong. The challenges that you will have is, do you know who they are, right? So when you want to get a private caregiver, make sure you do the vetting very carefully. Check references. If you can do background checks, you do it, right? Because with an agency like us, we do all that. We have the insurance, we have the liability, we have the workers' comp, so we cover that. But private caregivers can also be very good. Check SOAR. There's a Facebook group called SOAR, SOAR. Sometimes, if you want to ask questions, you just ask them, hey, do you have options for private caregivers? They usually have a lot of options there, but then still check the references. Check people that they have served and see how they do. Consider payment sources. Most of the time, the payment for in-home care will be private pay, so out of pocket. VA benefit can provide in-home care. Long-term care insurance can provide in-home care, and then Medicaid. Okay, so check with how what you're available. Check on those payment sources. Again, consider hospice care. If you need more care at this point of time, I think hospice care is really beneficial. And then troubleshoot factors too. So I always say, like, sometimes, people come to me and like, oh, I need 24/7. I always ask, so does your mom sleep through the night? No, because she wakes up 2-3 times a night to go to the bathroom. Okay, then I ask them, so what does she use? Does she use brief? She said, yeah, she uses Depends. Okay. What about changing it to a better product? Like we recommend Seni. It's a European product, but it's much more durable than Depends. Sometimes that can help you, right? If you can make your loved one sleep through the night and not wake up and go to the bathroom, maybe you don't need the night shift. Maybe you only need the morning shift, right? Seni, SENI. So Amazon sells them. All of the local pharmacists, CVS and Walgreens don't sell them. But if you go to Lacey's in Ackworth or any of the, mom and pop pharmacy, they sell that, Seni. They're about 15% more expensive, depends, but they're good. So if you want the overnight one, get the overnight heavy duty one. They're available in brief and also pull-ups. So you're welcome. And then what happened if, you time to have that conversation, right? So when the time comes when there's complex medication needs, when there's frequent falls, when there are dementia progression, chronic diseases, financial constraint, right? Again, because it's private pay. One thing is if you can wait till June, our topic is how to have difficult conversation with aging parents for that. If not, get trusted industry experts, talk to us. If you have that, sometimes, when that happens, like driving, for example, right? Talk to your doctor, let the doctor make that call and inform your loved ones, right? Or talk to us. We could come in there and like Kelly, could come in there and said, I think you need to move to a community. They sometimes hear us more than they hear the children, right? My mom does that too. She doesn't hear from me at all. So sometimes use the authority, like people, to help you to do that. And lastly, if you want to take photos, these are just only some of the resources that we can find that you can use to help. There's probably more than this. And if you can't find it, we'll find it for you. So any questions?
An answer for this, if you're talking about, look at family and friends to help with that.
Yeah.
Currently, husband's parents live in a, lower level, and there's all of these things that I think is really good, and we have that. But my mother-in-law has neuropathy in her feet, and she used a rollator. She had difficulty about a month ago. She fell twice, sitting down, kind of thing. And I guess my question is for me, being there, because we got the alarm, we got all of that.
Yeah.
I was not used to trying to figure out how to get, a person off of this. You're trained. Is there any start that help? Or do I have to go out if they did that on nursing degree? Or, I don't know.
So I think yeah. So the question is how do you get her up if she falls?
Without hurting yourself.
Well, and YouTube is my best friend. We were
Right.
talking about the board. Yeah, I know how to use the board now. We
Right.
need it,
Right.
all that. But I'm just curious if there are any services that can just kind of.
I mean, you can call a non-emergency assist, you can call 911 to help you with that. But I just met a caregiver who invented a product called IndyLift, INDEELIFT, because his mom fell all the time, and he thought there's got to be a better way to do this. And she can do it by herself. It's a remote. She shimmies onto this thing, and there's a video online. I think it's IndyLift.com. No, it doesn't inflate. It's portable. It's foldable. You can go online and look at their video. But I thought it was a really cool thing because I know my mom fell a lot too, and it holds up to 400 pounds. Like I was drilling in with all the questions. And he made a good point. He was like, if your person is falling a lot, that makes them want to move less and less. And this gives his mom the confidence that she's not afraid to move around. She knows that she can get herself back.
The other thing is, Pat, I think when you go to her doctor's appointment, ask the nurses.
They only allow me to go to this last one. Because this was after the following, so I talked to them to letting me come along as muscle. And they would not be near their doctor.
Okay.
I was in the waiting room.
Yeah, when we talk to our caregivers about falls, we said that the main thing is to prevent the falls from happening. Once the fall happens, we don't recommend them by themselves to lift the client because they're gonna hurt themselves. They can hurt the client. So the thing to do there is to call 911 because you don't want to risk it. That's why the best thing is to prevent the fall from happening because that's That's probably the strategy.
We reducing the pay without that, you know, when she's out of the lane and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the hard thing then too, because anytime I have a call, so, you know, that's a whole other kind of financial aspects and all of that, so, yeah, I understand.
yeah,
It's a slippery slope, for sure.
yeah. Because we want to make sure that you're safe too, right? Because it can it can hurt, yeah. Go ahead, Nicole.
It was actually kind of, sorry, it's the one-on-one mobility thing that pinged in my head. But there are a bunch of different lifting products. There's one that's called Razor by LiftUp also. The first responders in the UK use it. It's very similar to the one, the Indie Lift that they're talking about. And that's one thing. But also, like in the fall prevention, if she's falling trying to get standing up, then a simple one might be a sit to stand,
Sit to
lifting
stand.
chair. So there are a bunch of them, doesn't have, you know, they just trying to figure different things
Yeah,
out.
I think we've not ever experienced it. I mean, we've never known experience, we've never seen it. It's always been, we'll lay her go down there, she's sitting on the floor with her legs, you know, leaning into her. And so, because you can fall, you know, and, yeah.
But technology is.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point that Nicole brought up is that maybe understand first why the fall. Because the issue that you can find the right solution for that issue, because if you just buy one thinking that that's the issue, it may not be the issue, so then you're gonna waste the money. So I don't know how, you know, usually the falls happen when you're not there. Camera?
My parents used that,
Mm-hmm.
and they did find how to get
Oh, the matter of balance, the matter of balance. Yeah, so one of the topic, that's right, matter of topic, the matter of balance is when you, there's a certain way to fall, not gracefully, but safely, right? And then how do you then stand up? Like one of the things that we tell people is have a sturdy chair in every room. And they're like, well, it's not in my decor, but the reason why is that is if you fall, you can crawl to that chair, you can use the chair to stand up. So have a sturdy chair in every room because you can always use it to stand up if you ever fall. Yeah, but I think, yeah, find out why she's been falling, because I think if you find the issue, you can troubleshoot the issue easier if you know what it is. Is she slipping down from the thing?
Part of that doctor visit was some kind of infection in the knees. I would not have a problem with this.
Okay. Okay. Other questions?
But I'm sure, this week I was exasperated with my mother-in-law, you know, not adhering to restrictions, burned her fingers, and she has neuropathy. I was at wit's end, and I called, you know, the physicians, she's under Emory care, and I called and they had a care team approach where they talked about what I could share with them. I was kind of scared to do that, so I'm like, oh, you know, this can be neglect, this can be engagement, this can be. And part of me did not want to put the medical staff on it, out of that fear-based. I was so glad I did, because I talked to them 2 days ago. They were not confrontational, they weren't a lot of guilt with it. And then today, I took her to her doctor's visit, and, you know, the way they would talk about how much she loves and trusts this doctor, and how much his opinion matters to her. And as her daughter-in-law, opinion doesn't matter about it. So, you know, it was so neat because we got in there refreshingly, he came in and he said, I just need that in another future. He said, can we talk about why this is happening? And they've done that assessment where they do the self-care and self-harm and depression. And he said, when we see these things, we have to wonder, you know, is there something behind this? It begins to give red flags out to them. So he just talked her straight through, and then she, you know, just admitted to him that it was giving more of her independence and everything. It was so refreshing. At the end of that period of time, I didn't want to impose on the doctor. I thought doctors come in, they barely listen, you barely have time to listen to your heart, and they're out the door. But when I called the care team, they allocated the time.
Yeah.
He came in, and today, night and day difference. I mean, oh my God. okay, and he put it in writing, you know, the restrictions that he was talking to you about. So
Is he a geriatric doctor?
it's not,
He's-
no,
okay,
I wish we
interesting.
used to have one of those, but
Yeah.
they're few and far between.
They are, that's right.
But, you know, he was just a wonderful, you know, person.
God bless him, man. That's great.
I felt empowered for the first time.
Yes.
In months, so.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Any question? If not, so our next meeting, so these are all for the family caregivers, by the way. So Elizabeth Miller will be our guest speaker next week, and that's gonna be powerful next month. So juggling work, home, and caregiving. So Thursday, April 18, 2024, 6:30. So thank you very much for coming again. And again, our sponsor will be out there if you have any questions, and I hope we'll see you again next month. Thank you. Oh, okay.
Let's take one of us.
I need to stop recording first, I forgot.